Well, we are officially starting our annual general meeting. Welcome, everybody. As we have been discussing informally before everybody will join in, we are all willing to have this in person very soon. We hope next year we can do our events in person. If things go as they are going right now, we hope to see you all for the Welcome Back Coffee in September in person as usual. Is going to be a huge thrill for everybody to be able to meet in person. Welcome and thank you for being here today. There is no surprise, no news that this year has been a tough year for everybody, especially for organizations as PGITI, who base all the work in the personal connections and in-person events. So we've had a tough year ahead, but we pulled through. And I am very proud. I'm proud to say that we've had a very successful year. That leads me to thank you, all of you for being there, for supporting us, for joining for every single online event. Sometimes, as you know, we had to double up the events to be able to accommodate everybody. That's a huge success and a big step for us. I would like also to thank P&G for supporting us throughout this pandemic, for keep on the funding and for believing in us and in everything we do. So they kept us, feeding us our funding, so we were able to deliver our activities to you. And I would also like to thank all my team. This is the leadership team is incredible. It's outstanding. It's always has been, but this year proved that they are above and beyond everything, and they can cope with every kind of pandemic, adversity, whatever you throw at us. We'll thrive through it. So thank you so much to my team. Without the help of all of you, this wouldn't have been possible. I also would like to take this opportunity to say and to announce that I'm stepping down as chair of PGITI. I've been working with this organization for the last 11 years and acting as chair for the last 5. And this is going to be my last AGM talking to you guys, not attending events. I plan to be in touch with PGITI because PGITI is very, very dear to my heart. We will announce open positions, and thank you to all my. So if you guys would like to be part of PGITI, please let us know. Especially the chair position is open to help Otto for next year. I would like to thank to my former partners, former leadership team members, and the present ones. Today, please stay with us throughout the events. We're going to go very quickly through the formal part of the AGM, and then we will have an amazing speaker talking about things and day trips from Cincinnati. I guess we're all very happy to be able to go out and go places finally. Today, Barbara is going to be acting as secretary, so she will be leading the meeting for the formal part. And so again, thank you very much for being here today. Stay with us until the end. We have very nice things prepared for you. And without further ado, I will hand over to Barbara.
Thank you, Leticia. Thank you. Yeah, on behalf of PGITI, we'd like to welcome you all back to our virtual annual general meeting. This will be a recorded meeting. Show your faces. In order to have the best communication quality, we'll have a few tips for you. So please keep your microphone muted unless you're talking. We'll ask you to vote on a few motions later on during the AGM for the voting process. you're going to vote by raising your hand feature on WebEx. When you're asked to vote, you can raise your hand if you're approving and voting yes. You won't raise your hand if you're not voting, if you're voting in disapproval. We'll count the hands to totalize the amount, and Veronica will announce the results right away. So on this slide, we are showing how to raise your hands. It depends on whether you're signed in via your iPhone, iPad, or desktop. You'll have three possibilities. So you see the sign for participants, and the sign for more with the three dots, and the sign for reactions. And when you click on that, you'll see the raising hand. And to vote, you just click on this hand once. Don't click on it twice. And we'll give it a try and test it. So if you could raise your hands and test it right now, that would be good. All right.
Okay, only 12. Can you try the people that is missing? 12 raising hand.
If you have any questions, then just unmute yourself and ask.
If you don't find it.
Yes.
Hi, I have a question. Did I raise my hand? I couldn't tell.
Let me see. I
Let
can't
me
see.
see Dominica.
No, Dominica, you didn't. No.
Okay, I'll try to do it again. So I'm on my phone and
Maybe in the phone is in the three dots.
okay,
Hey, sorry, Barbara, I couldn't. I don't know. How can I do?
How
Okay.
are
I
you
think-
connected?
I think I did it just now.
Yeah,
Okay.
Dominica, yeah. Very
Okay,
good.
thank you.
Okay, how are you connected?
So I mean, how do I find the raise your
You're
hand?
connected via your desktop computer?
Yes, I'm using desktop computer.
Okay, all right. So in the bottom line, you'll have this either smiley face.
Hang on, smiley face. Yes.
All right, you click on that,
Yeah.
and then you have a sign raise hand. And then you click on that once.
Well done. Yep.
Yeah, I think I did.
Yeah, you did it. You did it, Kim.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
Are we okay?
Yes. Good.
Okay, so then I call the meeting to order at 10:13 a.m. The first item on the agenda is to approve the minutes from the last AGM on October 8th, 2020. We've sent you a copy of the minutes with a meeting reminder 2 days ago, and we hope that you read it already. We have it here again, so you could maybe read it through now as well. And I motion to approve the 2020 minutes. Does someone from membership second the motion?
I second it. It's Karen O'Hanlon.
All right. So Karen O'Hanlon, thank you to second it. Now all members, please vote on the motion to approve the 2020 annual general meeting minutes as circulated by email to you. Please vote now using the raising your hand tool to approve it. Right. And once you've done this, Veronica will communicate the results of the voting.
In one moment, we had 27 hands, so majority have approved.
Okay, so the minutes are approved. Thank you very much. Now I'm handing over to Carol to present the treasurer's report.
Hi, good morning, everybody. I'm Carol Wilkinson. I'm the co-treasurer, along with Fabiana Hernandez from Venezuela. So here you have on a chart, it's the budget that we agreed with P&G for 2021. The total was $43,000, which was 97% of what we had the year before. On the pie chart, you can see in different colors the categories that we spent. And what this really shows is that more than 75% of the budget was spent on events, and the smaller part, less than 25%, was on all the admin, the website, the administration things, insurance, etc. So this is how we're spending the money for 2021. If anyone would like to see the actual spending or would like more information about the budgets or treasurers in general, you can contact me or Fabiana at treasurers@pgiti.com. What I would like to do now is I propose a motion to approve this budget for 2021. Would anyone from membership like to second this motion?
I second the motion.
Okay, so thank you, Karen O'Hanlon, for seconding the motion. Now we would like a vote to approve the motion from all the membership. So if you approve the motion, use the hand tool. Vote. Okay, so Veronica will share the results with us.
Okay, 28 of 35, a majority have approved.
Okay, so thank you, Veronica, and thank you, Karen. I'll pass you back to Barbara.
Thank you. Thank you, Carol. So the treasurer's report is approved, and we'll head on to the next part. So I'll ask Karen O'Hanlon to present the slate of candidates for 2021-2022 PGITI leadership team, and she'll read the slate of candidates.
So we have Chair Otto Bosch from Germany, and there's an open position for joint chair. Secretary is an open position. Treasurer, Carol Wilkinson from the United Kingdom and Fabiana Hernandez from Venezuela. Coffee Connections, Barbara Engel from Germany and Agnieszka Kowala from Poland. Community Links and Facebook is Daniela Duzado from Venezuela. Program and Family Events is Chevy Betancourt Machado from Puerto Rico and Ina Fula from Germany. Interest Groups, Nicole Schulten from Germany, and there's an open position. Newcomers, Idalia Muniz from Puerto Rico, and there's an open position. Newsletter, Veronica Leon from Venezuela, and website, Alexandra Pooley from the United Kingdom and Veronica Leon from Venezuela. I motion to approve this slate of candidates. Does anyone from membership second this motion?
I second the motion.
Now, could all members please vote on the motion to approve the new slate of the leadership for 2021-22 as presented? Please vote now using the little hand.
Okay, majority have approved.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So the slate of candidates is approved, and I thank Karen and Veronica very much for helping with this. I'd like to invite all of you to talk with any of the LT team regarding the budget or any other questions you may have. So if you have any questions, just unmute yourself and ask any questions.
I have a quick question on in the pie chart, there was a section for education. What was that budget for?
These are events, education events. So some events are classified as as education, some are classified as coffees, just depending on what the event is.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, so the events that had happened during the coffee mornings are also included under those.
Yeah, yeah. So it really, if you look at the pie chart, you see the big areas are all for events, and then all the smaller sections are administration things, community, etc. You see that in G&As and etc. So we mostly spend subsidizing the events for members.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
All right, so if there are no other questions, I'd like to hand over to Letizia and Otto again.
Yeah, good morning again from my side. Before we continue our business, I really would like to thank our team members, Shelby, Ina, Barbara, Aga, who really worked so many hours to get the events realized, organized, thinking what can we do just to bring some fun into our lives. We couldn't leave our houses mostly, so we came to you virtually, and I think there were a lot of very nice things. Even I learned a little bit to put flowers together. It looks not too bad, and so, but there are so many other things. Well, I skipped the yoga. It's I didn't fit into any yoga dress, so that's how it was. But again, it was great. And to the team chairs, there's always Vero and Alex, who make it possible from the technical side, invitation. It's really a lot of fun. I also would like to thank Sharon for her work as secretary. She had to step down because Corona is so demanding if you have 2 kids and a husband at home. So it was for her too time consuming. Then I would like to thank you, our treasurers, who give us always the status where we are with our spendings. And like Carol, or if we're not spending enough, because we really want to use the money we get from P&G. So Letitia already said it. We are very thankful that P&G is helping us, supporting us financially, and that will be the case for next year as well. So that's really great. Then let me thank Daniela, who took over last season already the job for Facebook. So she presents us there and presents our invitations, our activities. Then for sure we don't have the possibility to see our newcomers personally, but Italia takes care of them. So she tries to keep contact. It's not so easy if you don't see people, then you get hold of them. But she's working on that, and the same issue for Imama, to contact interest group leaders. If there's nothing going on, then you can't really contact them and go there in person. And I have the pleasure to announce what you have seen, that Nicole has taken over that position, because Imama has accepted a position at a school she wants to teach, so which is also great. So yeah, that's our team, and then finally, well, you might see a few tears in my eyes. Letitia is now really, after 3 years, she wanted to stop, and she always was continuing, and now finally she steps down. Luckily for us, we still have her as chair emeritus. That position allows her to join all our meetings and help us to to get things done. And with her experience, there's always a question because she has seen probably everything. And that's good for us. Again, Letitia, thank you very much. Well, if you would see us in person, we would have for sure give you something, but well, we'll see. There might be opportunity in the future. And for all of you, I mean, she is doing so much work and is always so committed. And she probably will tell us if you're not doing a great job. She will tell us as a chair emeritus, you have to improve. And this is always that our members, PGITI members, really are benefiting from our team. So again, thank you very much. And you also have seen we have open positions. I asked the newcomers, please contact us. Then we will we will have some in-person meetings. If nothing else happens, but in-person meetings, contact us. It is such a great opportunity to meet other people. If you move from somewhere, if you are bored, that's what happened in my case. So I was so lucky to go in that group 10 years ago. It's really a wonderful experience to get to know Cincinnati better and also the other members. So I hope we can convince you. And in person, it's so much easier. You can get more hold of people. On the phone, it says just switch off the camera and you can't see them even. So now we hope we can see you again. We have a lot of other things coming still for this fiscal year, and the team is already working on great events. I'm just thinking on a river cruise maybe, and it's going to be very interesting next year as well. So again, thank you very much, and back to Barbara.
Thank you, Otto. Thank you. So if there's no further business, the business portion of the annual general meeting can be officially closed at 10:27. Right? Okay, now we're heading on to the next part, and we'd like to share with you a video of the events we have hosted this year. This video was prepared by a very talented young PGITI member, Benicio Machado, the son of our LT programs chair, Chevy Machado. I'd like to thank him very much for preparing this video. It shows what we have accomplished and how the events have kept us together as a community during this special year. If you're joining via phone, we recommend that you focus to see the video full screen. Okay, enjoy. Thank you. Right. Otto or Leticia, do you want to wrap up, or should I continue?
Yeah, I think go ahead, Barbara, and then we just say goodbye at the end. I think now we have the speaker, don't we?
Yeah, in a minute. So we have two things coming before. So first of all, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you, Leticia and Otto, as chairs, for all you've done for PGITA. You've shaped PGITA and continued to lead us in your role as chairs during last year, which was everything but usual. We are very grateful for having you in the PGITI community and playing an active role. As Leticia said, she's stepping down this year, but she'll stay with us as chair emeritus and will remain with us and help us in the LT team whenever needed. She's been active in the PGITI community for 11 years and has been chair since 2017. Thank you, Leticia. And we wish you all the best for the future plans you have, and look forward to seeing you at the PGITI events. Otto will continue to stay with us until the end of the year. He and his wife Ingrid, who will retire from PGITA at the beginning of next year, will then move to Florida, from where he's joining now, and enjoy the new phase of their life. Thank you, Otto, for staying with us, and thank you so much for all you've done. Thank you. Now I'd like to give you some more information about the upcoming events. We have still some events coming up in June. So we are extending the season a little bit this year. We're on June 3rd, we have the Cinnamon Rolls virtual workshop coming up. And then 5 days later, we have a virtual glass painting workshop where you learn to upcycle glass jars into a decorative piece of art. And we are wrapping up with a family cooking event on June 12th, which is a Saturday, where you prepare a whole menu for your whole family and enjoy it. The invitation will go out shortly, so watch out for that. Now I'd like to hand over and introduce first our speaker. I'd like to welcome Stephanie Talegani. Hi, Stephanie.
Hi, how are you?
Fine, thank you. Good seeing you. So Stephanie is a native of Cincinnati who likes to explore her hometown and surroundings with her family and share the experiences on a blog called Consistently Curious. She gives us today a presentation about places you can visit with your family within a 1-hour drive from Cincinnati. So you'll get some nice ideas for the summer, and I'd like to hand over to Stephanie.
Thank you. Let me go ahead and get my presentation up real fast.
Perfect.
There we go. Thank you so much for having me today. I really appreciate it. It's a great opportunity, and I love talking about my hometown and places that are so close. And so I just want to say to everybody, welcome to Cincinnati, whether you've been here for a few years, a few months, or a few weeks. I hope you have enjoyed everything this great city has to offer. It's been my hometown, born and raised here. So I'm grateful to be able to have the opportunity to share with you some of the best day trips from Cincinnati. So a little bit about me. My name is Stephanie, and I run the blog Consistently Curious. Pretty much it's a blog about all things Cincinnati, travel, and we really have been honing in here this past year on things closer to home. So we're not full-time travelers. My husband works at the university, at the hospital in the NICU, and I stay home with our daughter, Sophie, who is 4 years old. So you can kind of see a little picture of her there. Feel free to sign up for our newsletters if you're always looking for new inspiration coming to your inbox. We always are going somewhere new every month, sometimes a couple places new every month. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and we even run the Cincinnati Travelers Group, which is a great resource for people new to Cincinnati or people traveling through Cincinnati. It's a great mix of locals who are overly excited to share their perspective of Cincinnati. And so I just shared something about, well, what are some good walking tours of Cincinnati, some tours of Cincinnati, and the response was overwhelming, even things I hadn't heard of yet. So it's a great group to get a part of if you're looking to just kind of be curious about what's happening in Cincinnati and nearby. So when you're looking at Cincinnati, there's the tri-state areas, Ohio, Indiana, and Kentucky. So the yellow area represents pretty much about an hour drive from Cincinnati. So day trips to everyone are different. Some people a day trip is 45 minutes. Other people it's a 3-hour drive. They're willing to drive farther for more exciting adventures, or it's a museum they're really wanting to visit, etc. So I'm going to kind of cover a little bit of everything. Everything I'm covering really is about within an hour or 2 hours from Cincinnati. So I kind of have a little bit of both in there with a little bit of everything, because everybody likes a little bit of something different. So the first, one of my favorite spots from Cincinnati that makes an excellent day trip is Yellow Springs, Ohio. It's about an hour and 10 minutes north of Cincinnati, but kind of outside of the Dayton outskirts. It's kind of known as Ohio's hippie town. It's very eclectic. You're going to find lots of very interesting shops, restaurants, really trendy coffee shops as well. They even have a theater. I haven't yet had the opportunity to visit the theater yet, but it's a really neat town to just walk around. They actually have a phenomenal art fair, street fairs. They used to do them at least twice a year. With COVID, they had to stop, and hopefully this coming year they'll bring them back. But that is a great time to visit. But what I love going up to Yellow Springs for is for their hiking. They have the Glen Helen Nature Preserve, which is where you can see this particular picture where Yellow Springs gets its name. You can see there's waterfalls. It's a fairly easy hiking trail. It's steep to go down to, but once you're there, it's relatively flat. You have the John Bryce State Park, which is another great spot. They have a storybook trail there, which is perfect for kids. So it's a trail that tells, you have to follow it, and each panel tells a little bit of a page of the story. So kids enjoy like going through there to read the whole story. And then one of my all-time favorites is Clifton Gorge, and that's what the picture down here on the bottom is of. This is a little bit more of a difficult hiking trail. I can't say I would recommend taking toddlers unless they're going to be pretty much strapped on your back. There's some really steep edges. It's a gorge, so you have a lot of kind of dangerous situations, even though the railings are there. But it is probably some of the most beautiful hiking you will find within an hour of Cincinnati. So I would highly recommend a visit there. If you're going with children to Yellow Springs, I recommend a visit to Young's Dairy Farm. This is a really popular destination, especially in the fall, because they have a huge harvest festival where you can go out, you can actually snip your own pumpkins off the vine, pick them out, but they also have tons of other things. They have a petting area for the goats. You can go feed their goats. They're known for their ice cream, which is made on site. If you're lucky enough, you can actually go watch it being made at the barn. And then they are also known for phenomenal cheese curds, because it is a dairy barn. So you can go in and watch the cows get milked at certain hours. It's actually a really neat place to go. In addition to all that, they have tons of activities. They have two putting mini putt-putt courses. They have batting cages, a driving range, picnic area. Actually, it's a great spot. They rent out the picnic areas for company picnics as well. So you'll see a lot of that. They have a kiddie area where it's for kids 5 and under. And then they also have a couple kind of like almost not carnival rides, but like a big slide. I can't remember if they had the bounce house or not when I went, but I think they used to. I don't know if they still will continue that with, hopefully they'll bring that back. So that is one of my all-time favorites. We do this every year. We go up to Young's Dairy Farm, and it is a family-owned and operated farm, and it's been that way. And they're adding on as well. So when you go up, I don't know if their new farm store is done, and they're adding in a new restaurant. So that is always a great spot to visit. Another very popular destination for families from Cincinnati for a quick getaway is Indianapolis. Indy has a lot to offer. It's a little bit less than 2 hours, and it's an easy drive. It's kind of just out 74 and you're there. One of the most popular reasons people go is because Indianapolis is home to the world's largest children's museum. It is humongous. It is 4 stories tall, and they have a huge outdoor area that is centered around sports. Currently, the Indy Children's Museum requires all ages 2 and up to wear masks. That has not changed with the mandate yet. But it is a great, they took out some of the interactive exhibits at the moment, but they still have a lot to do. We are actually scheduled to go there in June to cover some of their newer updates. Just for those who have dinosaur lovers at home, they have a phenomenal dinosaur exhibit that they're working on. They do have some of the dinos out, but at the moment, the big part's closed because they're completely revamping it to make a huge new dinosaur exhibit. The other great things to visit in Indy are the Indianapolis Zoo. If you've been to the Cincinnati Zoo, you know how hilly it is. The Indianapolis Zoo is relatively flat, so it's a nice change of pace. And they have a couple different animals as well. The orangutan exhibit is phenomenal. That's one of probably my highlight of the visit when we went to Indianapolis to the zoo. Other popular things are the Motor Speedway. They have the Indy 500 there. They have the museum that covers all of that. They even have the opportunity where you can get behind a race car and drive one yourself. So you just have to kind of look at the prices when it's available because they don't have it year round. The other popular thing that I just read about and I wanted to make sure people are aware about is Newfields, which is their art museum, is hosting the Loom Indianapolis, which is their interactive immersion experience, kind of with that interactive Van Gogh. It's like a 3D all sense immersion that starts up in July. So that is a great reason to venture to Indy. So I'm sure we'll be going back for that as well, because that seems to be like a very neat activity. If you're looking at where Indianapolis is on the map, about a half hour north of Indy is Carmel, Indiana, or the Hamilton County. There's a really amazing indoor museum called Connor Prairie. So this is a kind of like hidden gem in Indy is what I call it, is because it merges science and history. What it is, it's a 800-acre museum. There's the opportunity to take a vintage 1859 balloon ride. It is tethered, so you're not going to worry about floating away. And we even took our daughter when she was 1 year old. So it is very kid friendly, very safe. Now my husband, who's afraid of heights, he will tell you a different story. So because it's very safe, but if you're afraid of heights, I don't think I'd recommend it very much. But what's neat is as you walk through Connor Prairie, it takes you back through time and what Indiana looked like in different periods. So it's really neat. They have a lot of different interactive spots. They have a huge treehouse for the kids to get in, animals. It's just, you could spend all day there. In the fall, they do a really neat Headless Horseman Halloween, kind of like a party. Where you can go and you can get on the wagon ride and the Headless Horseman will chase you, kind of like in Ichabod Crane. And then they also have things for Christmas as well. But also, if you're going to go visit Connor Prairie, you have to swing into the tiny town of Carmel because it is a darling town. They have a really nice art district. They have a bike trail called the Monon Trail. A lot of people will go out there just for the Monon Trail alone. The Monon Trail cuts through, it starts in Indy and goes all the way up to Hamilton County. It's about 26 miles long. And there's breweries along the way, tons of great little stops. We did it with our daughter. We stopped at the water park. There's Japanese gardens. There's a whole bunch of little areas to pull off shopping and things all off the Monon Trail. So it is, and they have bike rentals available there. So you do not have to haul your bike unless you really want to. So I would highly recommend to stop in Hamilton County if you're in the area. The next really popular destination for day trips is Columbus, Ohio. So Columbus is about an hour and a half from Cincinnati, straight up 71, and you're there. The reason why Columbus has so many is so popular is because it has tons of museums. You have Legoland, you have the Otherworld. Otherworld is a very immersive art exhibit. I guess it's hard to kind of explain because it's truly of the other world. So I can't even explain quite what it is, but it's worth visiting in my mind. You also have one thing I didn't mention on this list is COSI. COSI is just now opening. That is the science museum up there. That is perfect for kids of all ages, and even adults enjoy going. They're most famous for their bicycle ride across the tightrope wire. It's on a wait. But I think I finally have an opening date, and it might already be kind of open or set for June to open. But we've been waiting patiently for COSI to open up. The Columbus Zoo is also up there, and Columbus Zoo has a water park called Zumbini Bay attached to it, which is great for kids. And for adults, a little piece of information, they have a lazy river for adults only called Cocktail Creek. You can get a drink and you can float around in the lazy river and let your kids enjoy the rest of the water park. So that is on my bucket list this year. So I plan on checking that one off. For something a little bit more, relaxing, they have a really neat topiary garden in downtown Columbus, along with the Franklin Park Conservatory. The conservatory has a great children's garden, perfect to explore with littles. So I highly recommend that. While you're in Columbus, there's something called there's a little town called Dublin, and Dublin is right next to it. It's actually the Irish capital of Ohio. Pre-COVID, they have a phenomenal St. Patrick's Day parade and Irish celebration. They actually have an Irish cocktail trail where you can go into all the different Irish restaurants in downtown Dublin and get special cocktails. They have a waterfall trail where you can go see different waterfalls in the area. They also have a ferry door trail. So all the shops in downtown Dublin, some of them have ferry doors, and you can go get all the ferry doors. And once you find them all, then you can turn in your brochure and get a free t-shirt. So my daughter loved doing that. But what you see the pictures of is probably one of my favorite things to do in Dublin, and that is their art in public places. There's a lot of different artwork that can be found all throughout Dublin. There's a cell phone map that can take you through, and it's all throughout the different parks. It's actually a great free activity outdoors that gets you into a bunch of different parks and a lot of different discussions. My daughter kept asking me, why is there a field of corn? And as for Corn Hinge and cornfields. And the Dancing Rabbits was one of her favorites, as well as it's all made of recycled trash. And that so it's really neat to go around, and then you get to see all the different parks and just all the different artwork, and trying to find it all is in its own a day trip. So I highly recommend that. Also, a little side note is the Columbus Zoo is so close, is actually in Dublin. So if that's how close Dublin is to Columbus. Another great spot for those who love the great outdoors is Hocking Hills, Ohio. So it is roughly 2 hours from Cincinnati. So if you're going, a lot of people sometimes like to stay overnight. If not, it's 2 hours up, go early. And then that way you can spend all day enjoying the park. Some of the popular hikes include Old Man's Cave. This picture right here is from the upper falls of Old Man Cave. Ash Cave, which was the picture I had at the very beginning, Kunkel's Hollow, and the Rock House. A few of these trails are paved, so it's easy to take a stroller. If someone's in a wheelchair, easy accessible trails. The two that are Ash Cave and Kunkel's Hollow. And also a lot of them are pet friendly, and some of them are not pet friendly. So make sure before you plan your visit to Hocking Hills, if you're bringing your pet, to make sure you know which trails are pet friendly and whatnot. Kunkel's Hollow is not pet friendly. Ash Cave is. So it's just one of those things. It's kind of like hit or miss on which one is and which one isn't. So I want to just, so before you haul your furry friend there, so if you didn't feel like driving all the way to Hocking Hills to go see a waterfall, The other great one that's within about an hour and 15 is Fallsville Falls. And so this is kind of out in, if there's really not much around it. So you're just driving and all of a sudden there it is. I recommend going in the spring or fall, especially after a rain, because in the summer, the falls can dry up and it does not look as beautiful as this. A lot of people have posted up some photos, like they went, did the hike, and it was just a trickle. So if you're looking to see a little bit more falls, those are the 2 times I recommend going. However, there is one thing relatively close by, and that is a stop at Terry's Grocery and Pizza, because they are known for their crazy milkshakes. So they have, I mean, there's the pictures I've seen of all the different ones they had. There's one with a slice of cake on it, a cheesecake, a whole slice of cheesecake. So, I mean, these are meant to share. Kids might have other options, think otherwise, but they are truly shareable shakes. And their pizza is very good. So how we did it, we went hiking, and this is how we ended our hike, is at Terry's Grocery and Pizza for pizza and shakes. So that is a great kind of day trip all wrapped around. So the other day trip I wanted to point out is Lexington, Kentucky, because I feel like I have to cover all my states that are real close. So Lexington is just a little over an hour from Cincinnati, south down 71, 75, and then it'll go into 71. The biggest thing in Lexington is the Kentucky Horse Park. If you have children who love horses, this is the place. You can go, the horse park is wonderful. They do horse shows. It talks all about the history of horse racing, horse breeding, everything you need to know about horses. You can go and pet the horses, you can ride the horses, you can groom the horses even. They have a little bit of everything. Then to highlight, if you have a really big horse fanatic, Lexington has many areas that allow like many of the farms where they breed the horses and they let people come out. And so you can set up tours of the actual horse farms outside of this one. The other really popular thing in Kentucky is the Bourbon Trail. So a lot of bourbon is produced in Kentucky with a bunch of distilleries. So a lot of people, there's 2 different bourbon trails. There's the authentic bourbon trail, and then there's the craft bourbon trail. So you could do both. Distilleries offer tours of the, and then tastings at the end. And usually there might be a fee. Sometimes there isn't. It all depends on the distillery. So a lot of people like piecing together their own bourbon trail because usually each is an hour experience. So keep that in mind when planning. Lexington is also home to tons of historic homes and a lot of history. So they actually have a walking tour in downtown Lexington in their historic district where you can walk and see a lot of the historic homes, learn who lived there, and just kind of more about the history. They do have a small children's museum called the Explorium. If you have gone to the Indies Children's Museum, you will be disappointed with this one because this one is much smaller after you have seen such a remarkable museum. However, my daughter did not seem to mind and was plenty entertained with enough to do. And then they also have the Aviation Museum near the airport, which is another, if you have any anybody who loves airplanes, that's a great visit. On your way down to Lexington, you might see a sign that says Big Bone Lake State Park. This is another great day trip option, especially for those who might want to be camping overnight if you wanted looking for a camping spot, or just a great spot to go picnic and do a little hiking. So here they have a bison viewing area. So they have bison on property that you can come and see. They're always there, whether you can see them or not. A lot of times, I heard a rumor that feeding time is around 10 a.m. So if you come around then, you'll likely see them all eating very close to the fence. They do have hiking trails, and they have a really small museum, but it has some really cool fossils in it. There's no charge to go in, totally worth visiting. So this area used to have mastodons and mammoths back in probably like the Ice Age, and they came for the sulfur springs. So you can go and see the sulfur springs that are still there, and that's where they have found a lot of the remains that are currently on display. So it's really neat. They have playgrounds available as well, and a putt-putt in the campground that is open to everyone. So this is another great spot to swing by and visit if you're in the area. So there are tons of great spots to explore within Cincinnati. It's been my mission to highlight a lot of great ones. What you see currently on my screen over here is Portsmouth, Ohio. That has the flood wall murals on it, where Portsmouth was devastated by a flood and they had to put in all these flood walls. Well, the poor residents lost their beautiful view of the Ohio River. And so they commissioned an artist to create all these flood wall murals to make it more pretty. And so one man did all the murals, and it's so impressive, and it tells the history of Portsmouth. And then on the other side is Serpent Mound, which is the world's largest effigy mound. So it's a really neat visit, tons of hiking, pet friendly, and it's just a really neat thing to see. But I gave you guys a handout full of tons of great great list of day trips from Cincinnati. Or you can always hop over on my blog for even more inspiration and even more details on, because everything I have talked about, I have covered in an article in my blog. So if you're kind of like, oh, I kind of want to know more about that, swing on over and I'll be more than happy to tell you more. So are there any questions that I can answer for anyone?
Thank you very much, Stephanie. That was great. Great presentation. And I got a lot of new ideas to explore here in Cincinnati. I thought I've visited a lot. We've been 4 years here now, and the first 2 years, we explored a lot, but there's still some great places around here. So we don't get bored in the summer, I guess.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much. And we'll share the presentation and the handout with you, with everybody. And yeah, so Stephanie has a blog. Just hop on there and get some ideas. Thank you so much. So I'll hand over to Otto, Leticia, just to finish up, right?
Yeah, thank you, Stephanie, again. And I think wonderful things. I haven't been at any of those except the Bourbon Trail. So it's always good if friends from Europe coming and they have kids, because we have no kids. So it's good to have nice ideas where to go with them, especially when they are over here the 4th or the 5th time. So it was very nice. Thank you very much. And now I would like to thank you, the team, for putting together the AGM, which is always usually, well, we have to do it as a company, so it's a must, and I think we did it quite well and well organized from our coffees team and from website teams and from Vero, and then I would like to wish you a wonderful summer holiday. We're looking forward to see you again. There are wonderful new events coming. Brainstorming. We hope that we get the money. We are quite sure we get it. And now we're looking forward to see you in person. And I wish you a nice vacation again. A goodbye. And you all please stay healthy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Enjoy the rest of your day and stay tuned for whatever is coming next year. I'm pretty sure we'll see you guys in person. Thank you so much. And thank you, team, for your wonderful words. You almost made me cry. And I hope to be able to say goodbye in a proper way to all of you. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here today, everybody. Thank you.